Here we are. We're going live. It says we're going live. It says we're going live. It says we're here. I don't actually know if I'm here until my existence is validated by others, but, you know, I'll persevere and move forward as if I really am, even if I am a figment of my own imagination, which is possible. I have indeed, on Al Gore's internet, been a figment of my own imagination before.
Then you'd be a figment of my imagination too.
You got a good imagination, but I'm worried for you, and maybe you should talk to somebody about that, because if you conjured me, I think you need help.
You're right.
I mean, if I just happened to you, you stumbled upon me, okay, you know, mistakes were made. But if your brain created this as you know it, as I know it, I'm worried for you.
I would say I have good taste.
Thank you. We're going to move forward. Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Kayla Lords.
John Brownstone.
Of Loving BDSM, where we help kinksters like you have happy, healthy power exchange relationships. This is our weekly live stream while we record our podcast, the audio version of which goes out every Friday on all major podcast apps, unless they're glitching, and then I don't know what to tell you. We are here 8 minutes early, so if you're here for the stream and you don't like idle chit-chat, you got 8 minutes. Come back. We'll hopefully be on topic by then. If you're here after the live stream, but before I put in timestamps, and you don't like idle chit chat, fast forward by about now 7 minutes according to the clock. Okay. I'm going to say hi. Hi, Missy. Hi, Charlotte. Hi, Kitty. Hi, Tayshu. Hi, Mally. Hi, Little Threat. Hi, JB. Hi, Little Miss. Hi, Mr. Spock. Hi, Silent Wing. Hi, X. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. We need to share what we are drinking out of today. These were thoughtfully gifted to us, sent to us by longtime listeners, watchers, Shelby and Papa Joe. Tumblers that they make. I think Shelby makes them. Mine, it's hard to read it from the distance, and if I try to come up close, y'all know we can't do it. We can't. We are not booty gurus, and we cannot do it. Mine says Unicorn Kisses and Mermaid Wishes.
And mine says fueled by coffee and chaos.
Yeah, I'm going to claim both of these. You'll probably see me drinking from these more often than anybody, because that's a little cup of coffee for JB. We are drinking iced coffee. Thank you, Shelby. Thank you, Papa Joe, for these.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful.
They are gorgeous.
And yeah. I'd say I'm caffeinating, but these are both decaf because we already had our caffeine for the day.
Yeah.
Was it your caffeine intake that fueled the scene this morning?
No. That was pure
spite,
diabolicalness, and sadism.
Spite. It was spite. So last week you used the scene as a reminder of who's boss.
Right.
And as a payback for the sass. And it really was, y'all. This week it was just sadistic spite, because you could.
And I did.
And you did. You did. Hi, Rara. Hi, Bad Cat. You did.
And I enjoyed every bit of it.
I know you did. You know what? The one thing I thought I was not going to like, because I saw the tip, we were using floggers primarily, and then you ended with a cane, and I don't like canes. I have a very low tolerance for canes, and you know that. So you're like 5 smacks with this cane.
5 strokes, yeah.
Strokes, yeah, because they're not really smacks. But the thing is I know that you like to finish on an exclamation point, and I know that when you limit the time spent using a toy, you typically up the intensity. Y'all, I was terrified. Hi, Eva. And of course, that's the mental part of it, because the more scared I was, the bigger everything felt.
Right.
Like, had I been able to stay calm, it would have been painful, but not like...
Then I would have had to try harder.
No. I'm not going to tell you when I'm staying calm.
I can tell.
I was doing deep breathing through one of those floggers.
You were.
I forgot to do deep breathing through the other flogger because I just couldn't. So, but I'm definitely more relaxed.
See?
I know.
See?
These are attitude adjustments for both of us, but why does an attitude adjustment have to be so painful? Why can't an attitude adjustment be only the sensations I absolutely adore and crave and nothing that I find challenging? Why? Why does it have to be that way?
Anyway, hello everyone and welcome.
X, that's it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Sadistic laugh always. So, yeah. But I'm like, I feel like my head's screwed on right. Like it's a little quieter
See?
up there, which is probably why I didn't go full on panic mode when you and the 17-year-old who is 2 weeks away from graduation, 2.5 months away. No, exactly 3 months away from moving out. I got into serious conversations about motorcycle licenses and buying a motorcycle. I have such feels about that. I have so many feelings about that.
The thing is, Taishu, I have been changing it up. I've been using things that she doesn't. I've been a few of these things that I've been using the last few weeks. I've been dusting them off, so to speak.
This was. Hold on. Excuse me. I went into the bedroom when I got home from all the stuff I had to do, and I just saw this array of like evil toys that we almost never play with, and of course I took a picture.
I dug deep down at the bottom of the toy bag.
Yeah, and then you only ended up using 3, which that was sufficient. But that was what you said was, well, I went into the toy bag and I pulled out stuff that I haven't seen in forever, and I was like, there's a reason these are at the bottom. These are not the preferred. These are not the favorite. But I have been trying to advocate, and it's been falling on deaf ears, for gentler play. Like, I mean, not that, what's funny is even gentler play can have its intensities and its extremes depending on what his sadistic mind comes up with. So I'm like, we could do some wax play. We could do some bondage. Why don't we do some of that? But we are also prepping for what summer's going to be like with the kids being home, and we don't record spicy scenes when the house when the kids are in the house if we think we're going to make noise. So we already have.
And she made noise.
And, oh yeah, if you're hitting me, I'm gonna make noise. That's just how that goes. So impact scenes through the summer will be out in your shop, in the backyard, which just means we'll scare the neighbors, but we're not worried about them. And then if we do anything inside, it'll be the quieter stuff that doesn't get me to make noise.
Right.
It's more visual than anything. So wax play, bondage, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a feeling that as the summer gets hotter and hotter, there will be a lot more bondage. I feel like we're going to be like, we're sweating too fucking much out here. Let's go inside and play with some damn rope.
Just have to do it early in the morning.
Yeah. I mean, there's that too. And Rara makes a point in the live chat. Knowing what's coming and yet knowing you can't stop it is a mental trip. That'll fuck me up every time.
Yeah.
There's also that push and pull of, I want this and I don't want this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want what we're doing. I want the loss of control. Sometimes I want the specific sensation that I know I'm going to get, but also, do I really? So.
Yeah, you do.
Oh.
Yeah, you do.
Do I?
I need my phone.
So. But, okay, it is noon straight up. I'll give it a second for JB to actually come back to the desk in the recording spot. Taishu, maybe the people in the woods will scare them off, or we'll find out that they're kinky fuckers too. I don't know. Okay, so now that it's noon, we'll officially get started. Today's topic, we are gonna go deep into our personal life of something that happened recently, so ripped from the headlines of our own DS relationship, about how we negotiated a new thing within our power exchange, and it was handled differently, and the things asked for were very different from how we have done it in the past, because things are just different for us, and so we're gonna share that experience as one example of many of how these things can go. If you enjoy this while you're watching, we love a thumbs up. If you like it enough to want to come back for more, please consider subscribing.
And once you subscribe, ring the notification bell so you get updates of new content.
Do what Daddy says. If you really like what we do here, you want to help us keep doing it. Believe me, we are not making bank off of YouTube ads. We get demonetized way too often for that. And I won't put in an obnoxious amount of ads on the few videos that do get monetized. You can join us on Patreon, where we hope to give way more than we receive. So there's a Discord server, there's extra content, there's a live stream, there's podcasts, there's just stuff. And then you can do that for as little as $2 a month. And if you do higher tiers, you get more stuff. And if you're like, nope.
Who doesn't like stuff?
Right? I'm a YouTube person through and through. I never leave this platform. You can join us on platform. You can join us through YouTube. What are words? I don't fucking know. Where you get access to an extra live stream and an extra video every month. So we would love to have you. We need you if you can do it. I mean, not gonna lie. So links are in the places. La-di-da, you can hit the button and turn the fan back on, and then I'll go into announcements. Like those weren't announcements, but you know.
All right, button's been clicked, fan is going on, so there will be a hum in the background. There is nothing wrong with your listening experience.
Well, there is. I get the amount of complaints I get because I'm too loud and you're not, even though you do the blah-de-blah and how people wish that we would do things different. I spent the first 20 years of my life modulating my voice for people who disapproved of me, so I'm kind of past that point. We are gonna take some time to adjust our recording stuff, so maybe we can adjust the soundboard at that point.
Yeah.
But for anybody who's like, Kayla's too fucking loud, well, sorry, that's
Welcome
who I
to my
am.
world. This is what it's like 24/7.
We will use our equipment to modulate that as much as we can, but this natural exuberance and enthusiasm will no longer be tamped down, thanks. So I apologize for your ears now. Okay, so before we get into things, I don't have any major announcements. The big announcements was please like us on Patreon and come join us, and we've already been through all that. The one thing I wanted to do before we get started on today's topic, I do not think we're going to go deep on this, but I know it's going to be touched on because it's what we were negotiating about. So I want to give a content warning. We will be touching on, though I don't think we'll be going in depth, weight loss, nutrition, body image, like the stuff of, am I trying to lose weight or what am I trying to do kind of stuff. It's not the main focus of the topic, but it'll get mentioned. So I want to give you a fair warning in case that is something you're like, nope, I avoid that. That's not my thing. That's not good for me to listen to. So if that is not for you and that you're not in a place to listen, look, I respect it. Okay. You nope out of this one, and we got 350 other episodes in the archive. Plus next week we'll talk about something else. So just fair warning for anybody who tries to watch how much of that kind of content they consume and in what spaces. Just fair warning. Okay. So I have a feeling this is going to be chaotic.
The normal chaotic.
Different chaotic. So sometimes there's chaotic because we're super we're like puppies who just got let out into the world and we're very excited. And then there's like, wait, have I organized my thoughts enough chaos? And I think I'm on the second one today. I'm either already over caffeinated or not caffeinated enough. I can't figure it out. So this episode, we're going to share a recent negotiation experience that we had that was unlike previous ones. And it was sort of an illustration of how things have changed. I warned everybody last year that there'd be a lot of, here's how this is different in 10 years, because we're at the 10-year milestone for our relationship. We met in very late 2012 and started establishing our DS in 2013. This time of year, mid-May, 10 years ago, we had already had one visit and we're either in the middle of our second visit or we're planning it. So we're definitely well within that 10-year mark now.
Yep.
So also, I did not know that this is what this would be. I thought, oh, we've talked about negotiation several times on the podcast. Let me go pull the old links of old episodes, whatever, to reference back for anybody who's like, oh, I need to know more about negotiation. And the links are in the places for everybody. Podcast listeners, it's the show notes. On YouTube, it's in the description box. But what I found was this is also accidentally a revisiting of a prior topic. almost completely, almost identical.
Oh my gosh.
The thing we negotiated for what I feel like is the umpteenth time in our relationship is JB helping me because I need outside accountability. We talked about that in the procrastination episode for when I want to make changes or I want to do something. And this is about my health that will affect my weight probably, although that is not really my ultimate goal necessarily. Like it would be a happy outcome, but that's not what I'm trying for. And the very first time we talked about negotiation on this podcast was episode 14.
Wow.
300 plus episodes ago. And we actually just negotiated while recording to show people what that looks like for us. And it was about nutrition and exercise and weight loss.
What comes around goes around. Imagine that.
Considering the amount of times we've had this conversation within the context of our power exchange over the past 10 years, and also the amount of times it has not worked.
You see my
I know that says something about us, and I believe there's some choice phrasing like of doing the, you know, what are we, the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. I don't know. So yeah, it's technically revisiting that as well. So if you want to compare what we describe, because we've already done the negotiations, you're not going to witness that here, and compare this conversation to the episode 14, the links are in the places. So yeah, I found that amusing because of the fact that the last time we gave an example of negotiation, it was the exact same fucking topic. Exact same one. So let me give you the broad view of what I came to JB with. Right. That is slightly different from some of the other things we tend to negotiate. Typically, you come to me, you have an idea, a thing you want to try, a way to play, whatever. It's not that I've never come to you. It's that I keep coming to you for the same damn thing. It keeps not working. So that's no different. I've been that way since we kind of grew comfortable with one another. If there's something I want, I will approach you. So that was the first part. What I have been trying to do, I've been very mindful of my mental health, especially surrounding food and exercise, because it's not an official diagnosis. I would never stand up and go, this is who I am, what I have. But based on a lot of resources I learned from, I believe I binge eat, and I don't know if it's a disorder, if it will qualify. I'm not diagnosed. Please, please, please. I don't know, and I'm not saying that I know. But a lot of the things I've done looked very similar to binge eating. And then once I kind of figured that out, I was like, wait, where does that come from? What causes that? And so I have been, and I'm still doing, picking apart my eating habits and the known triggers that can send me spiraling, like counting all my calories or going on a very strict limiting kind of diet. Like I've been working on that for the past year or longer. I'm doing my best to practice intuitive eating in a way that's, potentially healthy. I'm also very aware of my age, my weight gain, what my health is based on conversations with my doctor. And so all of that is swirling around in my brain. And I'm like, okay, where I'm at currently does not feel good for me. So I want to change something, but I want to change something knowing where I have to be careful so that I can stay present and as healthy as possible, mentally, physically, so that I can do all the other things I want. So a lot of what happened was me doing a lot of research, soul searching, figuring out what would work for me. I was despairing for a long time because I was like, I'm not seeing anything that won't potentially send me right back to where I was mentally a year to 2 years ago. I don't want to be in that place, thanks. So unlike other times when I have especially on this topic, I've approached JB and said, hey, can you help me? This was not the impulsive, impetuous, hey, I have an idea. Here's a thing that might work. Will you help me? This was highly researched, highly thought about, sort of like my brain's been trying to solve a puzzle and working on all the pieces and not quite seeing how I could get the result I want, especially because I already knew we have really bad luck with this. I think part of that is because I've tried to do everything I used to do from the time I was before I even like graduated high school with regards to weight loss and food and exercise and stuff, and just add DS on top of it. Instead of going, let's take a slightly radical approach to this and see if our power exchange can assist, but assist with a new way of doing it, right? So there was that. Then I had to, I had to think about, wait, we've done this like 10 million times and it never seems to work. But then I also had to think about your mental health. Yeah. And we've had many conversations privately and on the podcast about how there are times you have decision fatigue. You just don't have the mental energy to take on more.
It's been a roller coaster ride for me, especially, you know, I knew something was off. We talked about coming in to the end of last year, and the last few months, things kind of tanked for me.
Right. So I was not going to get to approach you in the same way that I normally would.
Correct.
And I was mindful of that. You've not made any of that a secret from me. It's one of the many side benefits of talking about your power exchange professionally, because it's like I'm well aware of what he thinks. So
excuse me.
That actually made me for like half of a minute not want to approach you at all, because I was afraid of asking you to do more than you felt capable of.
Well, the way you approached me, I was very grateful for that.
So the way that I did that, the initial part was, I have a thing I want to ask if you can do as part of our power exchange. Yeah. However, and then I caveated left, right,
Correct.
and center.
I mean, you did not just come to me and say, I've got something I'd like you to do.
Right, no.
You know, to work this into our DS. You were like, you know, this is something I've been thinking about, and I'd like to hear your thoughts and consideration.
And you asked one of the hard questions, which is a legitimate question. And I don't know how this translates for other power exchange relationships, but we're trying something in our power exchange that we've tried, I can think of at least 3 times, and it's not worked out. And you said, what makes this time different?
Yep.
Yep. And what's funny is, funny is not the right word. What amused me was that I was like, oh, well, that is a question I've been asking myself too. And I don't know necessarily. The one thing I was able to say immediately was, I'm not asking you to take, and I'm trying not to ask you to take an overly active part. Yeah. Whereas in previous times, I wanted you to be highly aware of what I was doing, what I should be doing, what I wasn't doing, to kind of track and monitor with me or for me, and to put in a lot of mental energy that even in the before times when we tried this, even though things were better, you, like me, is one of our many similarities. You've always got a lot going on. Yeah. So even when you're like mentally at your like peak of health, some of what I had been asking previously was just a fucking lot to add into just your life. And I have scaled it back and taken on much more of this is really my responsibility, and what I need is some level of accountability.
Right.
Which it was the conversation on why I don't procrastinate that sort of made me go, holy shit, the answer's been in front of me all the time. I just need somebody to hold me accountable, not to make me do the thing, not to reward me when I do the thing. Because what in the plan I've got for things I want to do differently, I am much more aware that what I'm trying to do is change existing habits. I'm not looking for...
Well, that's really what it all comes down to, doing anything like this.
It all does, but
yeah.
Especially when you're talking like potential weight loss or changing your eating habits or changing your exercise habits. Everybody's different, but a lot of people, and myself included, it's like, oh, I'm doing this for a short amount of time to get to a very set goal, to reach a conclusion, and that's always been my mindset. The few times I've tried lifestyle changes, they worked until they didn't, which is why I'm feel a little whiplash from like coming back for the millionth time and going, I'm trying something that's hopefully a lifestyle change. We shall see. So the other thing that was different is that I've gone through enough times of trying and the thing not working out.
Yeah.
That I feel like I'm a little bit more realistic, but yeah, I'm looking to do the work. Whereas I think in previous negotiations, I was looking for you to make me do the work.
Right.
Which there are times, especially early days of our power exchange, that made me feel really submissive to be guided like that, to be told what to do, to have somebody kind of watching over me. And after all this time and just how our life has worked out and how I've sort of mellowed into myself, I actually don't want that level of oversight. Like, that's very stressful to me.
Now, it was there.
Oh, no, I hate it when that happens.
It was there. Just like you say to me, you know, you want me to be around for a very long time.
Yes.
Okay. I feel the same about you. You know, I don't want anything to happen to you.
Right.
Okay. You know, age difference aside, that doesn't really mean a whole lot.
No,
Okay.
considering I know my family history of when we tend to
you know,
nope out of life.
My sister is perfect.
Sure. Anything
Okay?
can happen at
so
any point.
anything can happen at any point. So, you know, age discrepancy, you know, so I'm in the same boat. I want to keep you around for a good long time. Now, you know, even with my current mental state, you know, as my submissive, you know, one thing you have done, which has helped me, you know, there are times, talked about this before, how I've been doing water aerobics, which has truly benefited me in a number of ways. But where I am at mentally, there have been a few times I'm not going. I don't want to go. And, you know, you don't tell me, you know, you need to do this, get off your ass and go.
No,
but,
I do not, and I cannot imagine.
Yeah, right?
I thought it.
But what you have done for me, which has helped me and got me going, you have come to me and said, you know, you do feel better when you do this.
The hardest part is getting up and going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, I see that as an act of service because you're kind of holding me.
And that's a touchy one because it's like if I approach you in the wrong way or you're just in like just the slightest wrong tone.
You know me, I'm going to dig my heels in.
Or you're going to come back as grumpy polar bear and be gnawing. Like, you don't just bite my head off, you gnaw on the gristle in the back of your mouth. Like, I don't want that either. And of course, I think this is common enough. I think most people have been probably on the receiving end of this as much as the doing it. If weight loss or exercise or any of that has ever been like a part of your life, where the moment you feel like you're motivated to do it and you've decided this is important for me, it then should be just as important to the people you care about. And if they would just do these things, and I've actually found myself like pulling way back and going, oh, I can hear myself doing that. In this case, so just to give you a broad strokes, I've found I've got a planner addiction and I got a coupon discount addiction. Okay. If I don't have to pay full price for it, it's that much more attractive to me. Right. So I came across these planners that were about changing habits. They're actually short-term planners that last like 66 days. I liked the language that they use. It was not a all or nothing. It was not for, I'm at a point now that if I'm reading things about health and nutrition and weight loss and all that, I'm better able to ignore the stuff that I'm like, nope, that's not for me. I don't have to follow that just because somebody wrote it down somewhere. So I found these trackers and I was like, look, I need to see what's really happening with my nutrition because I know what I'm striving for and I know what I'm saying is happening, but I need this on paper. But I can't track calories because there will be a spiral. It will not be pretty. So I was like, I just want to track my nutrition for the duration of this. And I got it, the planners in PDF so I can reuse them for other purposes. It's like, I just want to track to see what's going on. I want to get in the habit of tracking. I want to test tracking to see, can I track and not be triggered by that? And I mean that in the psychological, like the way we mean. I was like, can I do this? On the other end, I walk every day. I love that habit. It's I know good for my physical health, but also it's great for my mental health. It's a thing I get very cranky if I have to miss. I've loved adding that. I was like, okay, well, I want to add some resistance training, strength training, because everything that talks to people my age and older, 40s and older, is like, you really got to get on that strength training stuff, right? So it's like, okay, I want to start small. I want something that guides me. Once I use them for a hot minute and can really like give if anybody's interested, like reach out. I'll let you know where I got them. So once I use them for a bit, I'll be able to say, do I really like these or not? Yeah. But from first appearance, I do. So again, that's my responsibility to do this particular planner. There were 2 that I got. It gives you the workouts. It tells you, like, it makes it as easy as it can. All you have to do is then do the thing, the hard part. And so I want to track that and I want to keep up with some kind of routine. The thing is when I have to do it for myself, no, we talked about that in the procrastination episode. I will procrastinate. I will let it go by the wayside. If somebody is following up with me, or if I have to show somebody that I did the thing, look, might there be a workout at 9:30 at night so I can hit a deadline and say yes, there might be, but you know what? It will get done. It will get tracked. It will whatever. So all I'm trying to do is use these 2 planners to kind of help me with these goals I'm working on, very long-term, like lifelong goals. And I'm just trying to get started and see what can happen. And can I maneuver through this without like a mental collapse around food and exercise again? So like I said a little bit ago, I'm not asking because he can't, and I know it won't work because it's never worked, and now it really won't work because I'm aware of where his mental health is. Yeah. I'm not asking him to tell me it's time to work out. I'm not asking him to keep up with, did you work out today? And I was very nervous about coming to you, not because I'm ever nervous about our negotiations. I'm never nervous about that, but because I was afraid that even what I was asking was gonna be too much, and that if I overwhelmed you, you would reject the idea completely instead of doing the back and forth of negotiation of, no, I can't do that, but I could do this. So first we talked about it and I said, hey, I just want to have some kind of timeline where I'm supposed to show you and prove to you that I have tracked, whether that's once a week or once a day or whatever. I want to have to show somebody that I've done this so that I am accountable, and you are the person, the only human being on this planet who is allowed to do that for me. Can you do this for me? Right. And it was old school negotiations. You had questions. You were like, how often? What do I have to do?
Right.
What are you asking for?
Initially I said, I need to noodle this. I need to think about it. And, and that's how I came up with a lot of the questions. Right. So initially I did say, let me give this some thought. And,
while that is a common thing and it's something that we're like, if you're negotiating, give the other person time to think about it. In our relationship, prior to this, you might have wanted a few minutes before, but in olden times, you would take a few minutes and you'd be like, you could immediately tell yourself yes or no, whether this is a good idea. And now with where we're at in life, you're like, you actually went away for a bit. Was it like the next day, 2 days later? I think you said, let's talk about it tomorrow. And then we got busy. And so it was like 2 or 3 days later. I was so have you thought about it?
And that's when I started asking you the questions. The first one being, what makes this any, different
Yes.
from
that
any
was
of the other times?
that was a brutally honest question asked in a very kind tone. But if you had to write down the question, the tone you would read it in would be based on your own
Yeah.
shit around that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it was a fair question. That was the other thing. I was asking for, again, like easily the third or fourth time, hey, can you help me with this thing? And since it's the joke of our relationship that it's the one thing we can't stick with,
Right.
even when we negotiate it all in good faith.
Yeah.
That's the other thing that years of experience gives us. It's like, oh, we're trying to repeat something that didn't work the first time.
The cycle continues.
Why are we here again? Those are
Yeah.
not typically the things you have to grapple with early days when everything's still kind of new. Now it's like, we've been to this rodeo. We know how this ends. Why are we here again? And who I am ever optimistic and hopeful, I'm like, no, but this time it'll be different. Will it? I don't know. I hope so.
Me too.
Now, I feel like, this is how bad my memory is. This is only a few days ago, y'all. I feel like the first thing I suggested, you did the pushback on of, no, I think that's too much. And we literally did like almost a boardroom negotiation of, I'll take 5. You're like, no, I'll give you 2. How about 4? I'll give you, like, that kind of back and forth. Because I think I was like, the one thing I remember saying was, this may be too often for me too.
Yeah.
Which is daily check-in. And your face went, I could, the experience we had together, I can read his face. I was like, no.
Yeah, the blank expression just rolled down.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, the time gave you the time to think and go away, and then us forgetting to follow up. Gave you time to think and have your questions.
Right.
I have more experience with this kind of communication process in a relationship, and also just more understanding of myself. So I wasn't even going to bring it up to you until I could fully explain to a level I found satisfying why this time, what's different, what I'm trying to do, what my thought process has been. In years past, any negotiation, not just this, but like even when it was play, a lot of times one of us would go, hey, what do you think about this? Here's what I've learned. The other one has an immediate reaction, or maybe takes some time to think, although that's pretty rare. Bless you. We tend to go on just our gut reaction. And then it's after the yes of, sure, let's try this. Then there's a deeper dive. This one was, I did the deep dive. I've been doing it for months.
Yeah.
And then stumbled upon a solution where I thought what I mean by the solution is how I could utilize our power exchange to actually do this thing I've been wanting to do. But I was like, I know who I am. I know how I am. What is there to hold me accountable? I was like, my daddy Dom. But that was another difference of talk about the thing, yay or nay it, and then figure out the details. This was figure out all the fucking details and not come to you until I could basically like give a dissertation on what this was and why this and blah, blah, blah. Was that helpful?
I think that was helpful. It definitely was. Because like you said, normally in the past, we'd have the discussion, then you'd do the deep dive. The fact that you did the deep dive prior to even, approaching me with this made me think, okay, well, maybe she's a little more serious about this than she has been in the past.
This is less of a whim, more of an actual plan.
Right. Because you... folks, in actuality, before any of this talking came up, she had actually been mentioning these planners to me.
I've been dropping hints. I wanted to buy them and buy the physical books and spend a ridiculous amount of money.
She had been mentioning these planners to me numerous times, well in advance of this, and I was just like, yeah. Because of
once you gain a reputation for not following through, you have to do the hard work to prove otherwise.
Yeah,
that's true.
So there was kind of that for me, which did give me some trepidation.
Sure.
With all this,
and it's funny because the way our relationship works, and of course it's all wrapped up in power exchange. That is not a thing I would buy without getting your okay first. Even if I had not then come to you and gone, hey, can you help me with this?
Yeah.
I kept dropping the hint, hoping for the magical words of, go ahead and get it for yourself, baby girl. Have a good time. I believe in you. Forgetting we've got 10 years of experience now, and he's like, "Oh Lord!"
I mean, this
thing will gather dust.
The other thing on top of that was right now with our financial situation, buying something like that on a whim is not something we can.
No, we don't buy on whims anymore.
No,
only carefully
right.
crafted plans with explanations and justifications, and then 6 months of research. That is how we purchase things. Yeah.
So there was also that.
Sure.
Aspect of it too,
and that is very different from 5 years ago, not even 10 years ago. Whereas we've all since we moved in together in 2014, we commingled finances immediately against all other good advice that is out there on financial stuff.
Yeah,
I would not say anybody or everybody should do that. I just know it worked for us, so that's what we do. But that was when we started the conversations, the back and forths of when we buy something. Even you could throw out well, I'm the dom, I can do what the fuck I want. Even then, when finances weren't an issue, you didn't buy something without having a conversation with me first.
No, and I couldn't do that because regardless of the fact that, it comes down to me having the deciding veto, as you were, that does not give me carte blanche to go out and just do whatever I want at a whim.
Right. It is not, one rule for me and another for thee kind of deal.
I mean, it because even whatever I do affects everybody in this house. Right. So, it's...
When we had separate accounts, because we had enough money to have separate accounts, that was different, but like commingled funds. So in this case, though, the decision to purchase, the okay to purchase, was all wrapped up in the negotiations. I wasn't even going to try to buy the thing until I thought I had, until you were willing to do the part I needed you to do. And I don't like to say dom me through it, but basically do the dom part, right? So the conversation, the back and forth was both here's what I'm trying to do, and why is this time any different? And here's what I'd like to buy as part of it, which then was also the conversation of having to, what we've talked about many times before, I will come up with a couple of options and then bring them to you and go, if you're okay with the overall this, which of these options do you like? Also, I want to interrupt here and go that sad sound in the background is Ella thinking she's desperately alone in a house with 3 people and 2 other animals. Okay. Sorry. So that was also part of it. So I was like, because I'm aware of our finances, more aware even than he is, because I'm the one keeping the books at this point, which is different than how it used to be. That's another thing that's changed. I was like, okay, if you say yes, I will monitor this, because that's what I'm asking for. I'm not asking for you to control anything. I'm literally asking for you to monitor on a schedule that works for you. I'm like, here's what I found. Here's what I'd like. And of course, I always give the big. I would like this one and this one and this one and this one. In case wishes are coming true and being granted, and he's my fairy god daddy dom. Like, maybe a bitch can be surprised. But then I'm like, okay, but here's the way I can do this: the least expensive, the least intrusive, the fastest, which was downloading a PDF. Blah 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 blah, and then you that was a place where you were in your decider moment, because I'm like, here are the options, and you could have gone none, but then in this case you went this one, which was my least favorite but the most responsible choice. I knew what the right choice was. I still would like wishes to come true. I'm just, if anybody wants to grant fairy tale wishes, I'm here for it. So so the other thing that's kind of different, so we got through it. Yes, I'll do this. 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 Yes, I'll do yes, you can make this purchase. And then the rest then is on me to actually make it happen. The thing that's a little bit different, and I think it's because we're trying to be mindful of where your head is at, is there was no, you will start by this date.
Mm-hmm.
You are giving me the time, which I actually appreciate because I am motivated, self-motivated enough to move forward, but I don't feel the pressure of a deadline. Sometimes I need the pressure of a deadline, and sometimes that's not always the best thing. So you were like, yes, make it so. Number one, yes, that is what he says to me. Okay. And I'm here for it. I don't know why, because I'm not even into that, but whatever. And so you've kind of allowed me to go at my pace to get this set up.
Correct.
I have printed out the nutrition workbook. I've got like 2 days in of tracking. I'm creating the habit. I've printed the workout planner book. I've got to get the holes punched and get it organized and get my mind wrapped around when will this occur? Because if I can't like see it in my own head, I can't make it happen. So I'm working on that. But there is forward movement. Now, what I'm curious about, because best practices would say if you're going to negotiate a thing, set a deadline, set a time frame. We did not do that.
I came in the house one day fairly recently, in the last couple of days, and the printer was just churning stuff out. And I was going to come and ask you, like, are you printing a book?
Literally, yes.
And then I realized, because I looked to see what it was, and I was like, oh yeah, she is.
One, I have proven how amazing our printer is. Knock on wood, please keep working.
Yeah.
Two, yes, I showed that I'm working on it. So because we did not follow best practices, because best practices are great in an ideal situation when you can do them, we would recommend it, but we live in reality.
Yeah.
And sometimes the thing that is best is not actually best. And had there been a made up deadline for either of us, I think it would have caused unnecessary stress in this situation. So my question for you, because we did not do that, one, were you like even aware? Like, it was not until after I walked away that I went, wait, I don't know when this is what's funny. I'm like, I don't know when I need to have this done. And then I went, oh shit, I better kind of get at least a little bit started on it, because I don't want to fall behind a date I don't even know about. Yeah. Did you think about the fact that we had not set any kind of timeline?
Any kind of date? No, I did not.
Okay. Now that you know that we haven't, but you've seen me kind of moving forward, what kind of thoughts or feelings do you have about that?
In part because I am juggling so many plates as it is, and I am where I am at. It did not really strike me as something that, we need to, set this in stone. But and this is as good a time as any.
Of course, where there are witnesses.
Right.
And a record.
To check in on you.
Sure.
And say, where are you at?
And, like I just said, nutrition started going.
Right.
Got to figure out when you feel up for. I've also thought about this, when you feel up for checking and how to do that in a no pressure situation. The workout book, I gotta punch the holes. I've got all my supplies. It's just a matter of doing it, and then I gotta actually pick when I'm gonna do the workouts so that I have something to start tracking, so you have something to start checking. But yeah, the progress is not as fast as it would have been even 5 years ago.
I meant to tell you,
I
do have a 3-ring binder you can use.
Oh, I have one, and it's beautiful.
Oh, okay.
Oh yes, I repurposed an overpriced, cute 3-ring binder that I purchased a million years ago with planner dividers. I went, we'll reuse this for this. So at least my notebook's cute too. JB has had to leave the microphone to go find out why our dog is barking her full head off like a crazy girl. So fun times. But of course, without him here to ask the questions and get his feedback, I've run out of words. Only temporarily. Give me a second. Y'all know I can find words pretty quickly. I don't know why this time not having a deadline is working better than when I usually do have a deadline. Oh, Lola is being walked in with the walk of shame.
The walk of shame.
She had to be brought in from outside because she could not handle herself out there.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Go check on something.
Oh, your girl is following under the tripod. Okay. A mini bonus section moment. We have a part of our fence that we got to replace part of the fence. I think we talked about that before. And there's a part that's like kind of open because one of the plank things has fallen down because we really need to replace the fence. And she can see through there and put her nose through there, and it's not good. And the new neighbors are supposed to be moving in at the end of the month. This will be interesting. So I don't know why this time lack of deadline is better than having a deadline, because I usually work best under the pressure of a deadline. I will get shit done if you give me a deadline. No deadline, and we're just gonna flap in the breeze for a while. We're gonna procrastinate. We're gonna find other things that need doing. This time it's not been that way. I think part of it is that this is where power exchange can be super interesting and super helpful. Yes, I'm doing a thing for me, but I am very mindful of your mental state and where you're at and what's going on with you. And so I am absolutely focused on doing this thing for me. And like I said earlier, I'm taking on more of it than I had previously requested.
Yeah.
Before it was like, I'll do a thing, but I need you to do a lot of stuff too. But I want the idea of being held accountable to be successful. So not having a hard deadline means I don't get all up in my head about getting the thing done at all costs, while also getting things done at a pace while I'm also watching you and what's going on with you, so that even when I have it all set up and ready, the day that happens might not be the day I go to you and go, hey, I've gotten this thing ready for you to check. It's more of I'll wait, maybe I'll keep doing what I'm supposed to be doing, because again, back to I've negotiated a thing for accountability with less expectations from you, more for me, which hopefully just proves I'm maturing and growing. I don't know. And then I might wait until it feels like the right time to go, hey, I've got all this ready for you. You let me know when you're ready, kind of deal. Right. I can't think of anything else I would add about what's been different and how this particular negotiation has been working out. Is there anything you would add?
I think, to me, the one big difference is in the past, you and I would sit down and we'd have a conversation and we'd talk and we'd pretty much iron things out in that one conversation.
Oh, yeah.
This anymore, it's become like a multiple conversational thing that takes place over time.
Yeah, and I feel like, there are certain things that we've negotiated where we hammer out all the details and you basically, it's another one of those make it so number one kind of moments. You're like, go do the thing. We've agreed, right? I'll go do my part. We'll meet back up at some point.
Right.
And that's fine for certain like one-off tasks, or we're researching something that will eventually become like play or whatever. The negotiations feel like they're mirroring the reality of what should also be happening. I'm asking for you to dom me with a light touch through what should be something that is a change of some parts of how I live and how I interact with certain things. And those changes should be slow, and they should be deliberate, and they should be, they should fit your life, not you contort yourself into a fucking pretzel to fit this thing you've decided you want, right? Yeah. You meaning me, because I don't know you and your life, but I've got 43 and a half fucking years of experience in this life of trying the round hole square peg thing and failing miserably. And so it feels fitting that these negotiations and then the implementation from the negotiation is mirroring a bit of ebb and flow of air quote real life. Does that give me a false sense of hope? Maybe, because I am eternally optimistic. I'm one of those annoying people. I do kind of like that. So here's another thing. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I think that this gives me a little bit more hope than what we've done in the past, because I have always been a firm believer, the slow and steady pace wins the race kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And I think this has that feel to it. Mm-hmm. Okay, at least from my perspective, rather than, oh, Daddy, I need to do this. I need to make these changes. This is what I'm going to do, and I want you to do that. And blah, 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 blah.
Let me overwhelm you with all the information.
Yeah.
Say yes to that, right?
And
doesn't that sound exciting?
And that's why this does seem different. Mm-hmm.
Only time will tell.
Oh, and exactly, only time will tell. But there is a different factor to it. There's a different feel to it. Mm-hmm. Yes, granted, you and I are both in different headspaces than we were how many years ago that,
I mean, hell, even a year ago.
Yeah. Yeah. So, there could be some
maybe
light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not a train.
Maybe the 18th time is the charm. The other thing that did come to me, I was going to say, is what feels good about this on a level of power exchange, being a submissive, negotiating some element of control between us, is that up until recently, when I've thought about we haven't really said, hey, let's renegotiate anything, let's change up our power dynamic, let's, add some new things. We haven't done that in a long time. Mm-hmm. But when the thought does come to me, typically prior to this, that we might do that, I've become very overwhelmed, because my memories of the times we've added new things have been very much and it's worked, because we started it so long ago. It's now just habit and patterns of our life. Hey, baby girl, I'm going to tell you, I want you to do this thing. I want you to do this thing by a certain time. I want you to do this thing in a certain way. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad the things that we do were set up at the time that you could tell me something like that, because then I could take it in and soak it in and go, okay, and fit it into the life and routine and habits we have now. We had then, and now it just fits and we don't even think about it. But when I have in the past thought about what if we tried to add something, I get very overwhelmed, because I'm using the example of the way we used to add things and used to negotiate things. And I'm like, that would not fit for right now. That would be too much. That would be too much to handle. Where would I fit it into my everyday routine? How would that? And I get almost a little panicky at a made up scenario in my own head that is not actually happening. Having this example of making a change that I want to make, but knowing I need assistance, and figuring out how to do it in a way that puts less pressure on both of us to do it. I'm like, now with that example, hopefully it works. We'll find out.
We'll see.
Can I maintain it, and can you maintain your part? We'll find out. But I'm less scared, or nervous, I should say. Scared's a little harsh. Of if there was something else we wanted to negotiate, because I'm like, oh wait, we're potentially having a successful negotiation by completely changing the expectations for one another.
But this is just another example of how things need to remain fluid.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Nothing in this is ever set in stone. Mm-hmm. It's always going to change, and you have to be willing to kind of go with the flow, depending on where things are at the time.
Says a person who, at least until recently, I would not speak for you now on this, is very easy at finding a flow and going with it. Some of us, named baby girl, are terrified of the flow, because I don't know that pattern. I don't know where it's going. I don't know its speed. I don't know if it's safe. I want predictable structure and routine until I personally am ready to get chaotic with it and ignore the routine until I go, wait, I need the routine again. Every time I say something, I'm like, how am I not neurodivergent? Sorry. So yes, go, Mr. Go with the Flow man. That you're right, but it's I have to get to that thinking in my own way, at my own pace, in my own time, and I'm attempting it here. And you know what? This one example seems to be working. So maybe to go with the flow instead of create a rigid structure and make the flow bend to your will is not as scary as I think it is.
Yeah. And I think that is possibly where we failed in the past.
Oh, yeah.
Because, okay, this is how we're going to do it.
Right.
This is how it's going to be done.
This is the brilliant idea that came to Kayla after 5 minutes of research, and it sounded really fun. And so this is what I want to do because it sounded really fun.
Yeah.
But it didn't actually fit our lives.
Right. It didn't actually fit our lives. At that time, early on, we did not leave ourselves open to adjusting to curves and potholes.
You know what's funny? I've gotten slightly better at this as I'm getting older. I am not good at adjusting. I'm very good at setting a path and either walking it or not, right? Like, yeah. So, because in the past when I've wanted to do something, I've, especially younger me, I'm a recovering perfectionist, right? It's still there, but I'm trying not to. It was like if I pick the path and I pick the structure and I just follow the steps, then I will get to a place. And that worked enough times for me to think it would always work. And I'm now at a place where I can look back and go, I'm not sure it always worked. I think I wrecked my own mental health trying to do that. Not always, but sometimes.
Yeah.
And then there came a point where my brain rebelled and went, you picked a structure, like one of the last times we had this exact same negotiation, because it sounded fun and the dopamine was like coursing through you and you're like, yes, we can do this. And it was structured and it was a plan. And then when both life got in the way and the dopamine ran out and it was no longer fun and it was a slog and it didn't fit with life, it couldn't work. And so then I had that period of, oh, my plans just don't work, which factually is inaccurate. I can look around my whole life and go, wait, my plans can work. Not all of them, but I can make a plan and have it work. So as I've gotten older and more of an understanding of myself and just things, now I'm like, okay, I can have the outline of a plan.
Right.
And also I am a smidge more comfortable ebbing and flowing.
Yeah.
Also, I think I'm at that point in life, I'm just fucking tired. And so I'm like, I'll try this one and we'll, to the best of my inability, go with the flow on it. And hopefully the light touch I'm asking for from you will be enough.
Yeah.
Because now that's kind of an interesting, I did not mean for this to be an experiment, but it's an interesting experiment of, for years I thought what I have needed was we don't do micromanagement. I'm not interested in that. You're not interested in that. But early years of our power exchange, I thought I liked the heavier hand. I thought I liked you to be more involved.
The heavy structure.
Right. And there are times I do like you to just please take the decision making away from me. I don't have it in me to do it. What do you want?
There are times with certain things you do need that.
Right. But I'm interested to see where negotiating control at a lighter touch level, if that makes it easier to want to, for both of us, to want to negotiate more structure with a lighter
because
hand.
it will be interesting to see if you need the structure to say, okay, here's a path, but you're not going to be told how to walk that path.
Yes.
Okay, so you have that little bit of structure,
right?
Of this is where it's starting, but you're given the leeway of how to get there.
And to actually bring it back to the topic we were supposed to be talking, I told you this would be chaotic.
Yeah.
Negotiating lighter touch power exchange, where there's still structure, but there's
Right.
less of these are the rules and this is the way and this is the path and this is the blah, 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 blah. More of a, this is the goal.
Yeah.
And here for right now is what I think will work to get to the goal. And here's what I need from you that does not require a bunch of time and energy. Here's what I'm curious about, and we will only know if somebody will help us remember, because I'm going to say this and then I will forget I said this. If after some amount of time, 6 months, a year, I don't know, if we find that negotiating some structure in our power exchange like this, where in this case, it's a thing I'm trying to do for me. I'm not trying to do for you. I'm not doing it as your submissive, which is a different kind of task to sort of negotiate. And the control you exert is a light touch, fluid kind of thing that's not about making sure I hit the end goal, right? Not making sure every day I do a thing, but checking in periodically. If getting the taste of power dynamics again in that structure will make it easier for us both to go, hey, we can negotiate more, we can revamp part of our power exchange, we can breathe new life into our power exchange that is not just our common daily routines, which are important to us, but we've talked about this in many episodes, it's very easy to get into a rut because you do the same thing all the time, and then that's just what you're doing. And it's easy to sort of psych yourself out that, wait, I can't add anything to this because that's too much. But if we add this, and if it works, if it gives us the confidence to go, we could do more. It's a grand experiment all the way around. I think that's enough. That I got to stop saying I don't have anything else, because I will always have something else. But I think that's enough. So we'll see how it goes.
Be an experiment of sorts, and maybe we'll have an update on it at some point.
I think by the end of this year, 2023, or early next year, that would be enough time if my memory can be jogged. Or I would say that if we can see a difference and we know that we've done this thing and this has worked for us, to talk about it, that would seem obvious, because we would be living the change and knowing that it worked. So we shall find out. But also, if you never hear about this ever again, it ebbed while we flowed, is all I can say. So I do. Anything else you want to add to this?
No.
Okay, so before we officially wrap up, a couple of things. Just because I forgot to say it at the top. This episode is coming out on May 12th. A week from May 12th, May 19th, we will be going live at 9:30 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. That will be our monthly hanging outy thing. Live stream Q&A thing. So just so folks know that. Podcast listeners, you cannot see this because I haven't taken a picture and put it up on Instagram yet, but it might be there by the time this episode is out. We are drinking from a beautiful tumblers made by Shelby. I cannot remember. Is it Rye? I don't know how you say the second part of your name, but I know you're Shelby. And sent to us by Shelby and Papa Joe, and we just want to say thank you to them for that.
They're amazing.
That was a happy thing to get in the mail, and
it was.
Anybody who's been here for a hot minute knows I love getting stuff in the mail. We said something at the top of YouTube, but I want to say something here, and that's it. And we can go into a bonus section now.
Okay, so are we good?
I don't know.
Keep it kinky, y'all.
And we'll see you next week. May I talk to the crickets?
You may.
And I remembered a thing I was also going to say at that announcy bit. I think we've decided at the end of the month, because of stuff going on with family and the oldest graduating high school and all that, we're going to actually take 2 Wednesdays off. Technically, from our timeline, it'll be a week off because it'll be Wednesday to Wednesday. But from y'all's perspective, it'll be essentially 2 weeks where there's no episode.
Yeah.
But in that time, we're going to update our live stream stuff.
Yeah.
We'll probably tweak some things on the soundboard a little bit.
We're gonna take that time to do some stuff. We've been looking into some other software to possibly use, and we want to use that time to try it out and see what we think.
So there might even be, if you're subscribed to us on YouTube, there might even be some surprise test live streams.
All of a sudden, you may see us pop up online for
right.
no
Random times,
reason. Yeah.
just to test it.
Right.
Because, so we're taking the Wednesday to Wednesday off because the Wednesday before the 17-year-old graduates, my mom is traveling in. The Wednesday after he graduates, she's leaving.
Right.
And times are like, and I was like, I can't decide which Wednesday we should take off. And I went, fuck it, let's take both of them.
We can do both, yeah.
As long as we use our time off wisely.
Right. So, you know, and we have had and will have a lot going on.
Yeah.
I mean, this week we've got the end of the year band concert stuff that's been going on.
We have gone to 2 of 3 concerts for the week already. They've been great. They've been freaking amazing. But it's like, and it's like, if I could just sit down and listen to the music and nobody would talk at us like from the stage, that would be great. It would also be a 45-minute endeavor.
Yeah.
But all of these take 2 hours because at the one concert, they feel compelled to speak for 5 minutes between everything. It's the community band. And like, they're like, if we're not telling a bad dad joke, are we even existing? Right. Yes. Just tell us I don't even know why you're telling me the name of the song. You handed me a program. I can follow along. Can we just play the music? But fine. They want to talk between every piece. And then the second concert was the high school concert band and a variety of other ensembles playing. And they didn't do a lot of talking. Thank goodness.
Right.
They had to do a lot of stage changing.
Right.
Restructuring.
Stage breakdown.
Oh my God, that was 2 hours.
Changes.
But at least the music was really good.
The music was really good.
So good. Proud of those kids.
Then for the youngest, we've got his spring concert coming up this week. Oddly enough, I realized both times they fall on the nights I should be going
you're supposed to go to the gym and you can't,
And I can't.
Even though I do try to gently remind him that he doesn't.
I could go at any time. You're correct.
He doesn't have to go just for the classes. He could go for other.
You know, but then with graduation and folks coming into town, so much going on the next few weeks.
Yeah, I was looking at, for our patrons, I do a weekly update and I try and put like upcoming events and so folks know when things are coming up for either different tiers or just in general. And May looks really light from a community aspect. And I'm like, because there's so much going on here at home.
Right.
If it wasn't graduation, like I think my mom would be coming to town. This is about the time of year she likes to come for a visit anyway. But if it wasn't high school graduation time, it wouldn't be near as busy. I'd probably just take the one Wednesday off.
Right.
And no big deal, and we'd work around all of that. But it's like, there's not just get everybody settled, make sure we've figured out what our family things are. That's get everybody ready. Do they have what they need to go to graduation?
Yeah.
I've had to explain to the 13-year-old, you will not be wearing gym shorts and a t-shirt to this. Like we're not wearing like tuxes and ball gowns, but we're gonna try and clean up nice.
We're gonna dress up and look presentable when we go into town.
Partly because we will park the wagon at the back 40, but we're gonna look good when we get across the parking lot. But like part of it is poor 13-year-old. He just doesn't. He has his concert band uniform, which is a tuck shirt and black dress pants. But he doesn't have like nice clothes. He picks clothes that he's like, these do not give me sensory overload and make me want to crawl out of my skin. And that's very soft fabrics and stretchy elastic bands. And I'm like, okay, but you are capable for a short amount of time of wearing structured clothes. I just need you to do it for about 3 hours on a Saturday.
Right.
So we've got to get him. I don't have anything that fits that is appropriate and fits, and I won't like sweat through. You had to get new pants. I got to buy the oldest a tie. Like he has the dress clothes that they are required to wear under their graduation gown.
Has he looked through my ties yet?
I don't know, but I'm also thinking he kind of should have a tie.
Well, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea. Yeah.
So. It's like there's all that. I am getting my hair done this week, the week they're recording, the Friday that the episode goes out on the podcast apps. I'm doing turquoise again. I'm not changing anything up. It'll be faster and quicker, but at least that's getting a refresh. But it's getting a refresh far enough out that it'll look lived in. But I'm going to get my hair done on Friday. You can't wash it for 72 hours after. You're not supposed to. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but you shouldn't wash for 72 hours after the color. And the very next day, we got to go to a picnic for an awards program that the band puts on every year, and we have to go. It's the kid's senior year. He's kind of in charge of half of it. Like, we can't not go. And I'm like, oh, great. So not only is this color going to be like cartoonish because it'll be 24 hours old, I'm going to go sit in the heat and the humidity and like let the turquoise just
stream down your face. Probably
what I'll do is wear a headband to try and hold back the tide of turquoise going down my head. So yeah.
Well, thankfully we haven't hit the full-on summer heat yet, and it is early in the morning.
The graduation, yes. The picnic is midday.
True.
So.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It is under trees, so hopefully that'll help.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so yeah, it's just there's just a lot. There's just a lot. And then I keep thinking, oh my gosh, this time next year, it will not be a lot. It will be whatever they do for the middle schoolers, air quote, graduating middle school. Not all this, because it ain't the same. But yeah. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we're having conversations about, okay, graduation present for the kid, and then 2 months later is his 18th. Those both are big events.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do for that? We are still figuring. It would be so bad if day of graduation I gotta stop at Walgreens and be like, here's a $20 gift card for you. Sorry, we didn't forget. I'm just panic buying. We have some thoughts. We'll see how things go.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a busy time personally. So we're being quiet on the public front and doing less for right now. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Cats are good. Lord, everybody got to hear Ella and how she feels about life.
Right.
Part of it is 17-year-old's home today. He finished up class at like 11 o'clock, but he got home late last night after his concert. So he's asleep, but
no, he wasn't.
Oh, he's awake now?
When I went in there to check because of what Lola was doing, I wanted to check the front. He was in the shower.
Oh, okay. Well, because I was thinking she's caterwauling like that because she thinks she's alone, because he not only closes the door, she can nudge the door open. He puts like his laundry basket in front of her and locks her out. So I assumed he was still asleep, but she thinks she's completely alone.
Yeah.
And even though there is a window that separates our bedroom and the office, she forgets that you can use it as to come in here.
To her, it's only a one-way portal.
Right. It only gets you into the bedroom. It does not get you back in here. She gets very confused. Yeah. Thank God she's pretty. Cheddar, the outside cat that's not really ours, but we sure as shit feed her a lot, so I think she's ours.
Right.
Seems to be doing great. She is being very protective of another outdoor cat that parts of the neighborhood have been trying to trap, because not like in a humane way, y'all, to get him in with a rescue or the shelter, because he's clearly injured, but he is so skittish nobody can trap him.
Nobody can get near him. Yeah.
We talked about that in a previous bonus section. Like, we were like, we would try, but I think we would just trap Cheddar. So she led him to some food that was left in what I consider her bowl out on our front porch, and then stayed at his back like 5 feet away and watched him while he ate. And she was like, she was watching over him and like protecting him, and my heart melted. I'm like, I love you. And then the neighbors, one of the neighbors' cats, who's like an indoor outdoor cat named Ezra, he was in our driveway this morning. I haven't gotten to see him in forever, and he remembered me and he let me pet him, and he started purring so loud. And I think he's one of those cats who drools when he purrs, because he looked up at me and he had this blissed out look while I was petting him, and he's purring crazy loud, and it's just wet at his mouth, and I'm like, I love you so much. I don't want to bring Ezra in. He belongs to our neighbor. I know where his home is.
Ezra's a very cool cat.
Unlike his brother Coy, who is another orange cat who is not interested in us at all.
No.
We have never gotten him to stay around when we're just out or come to, like, he is not. He's like, fuck all y'all.
No.
I think he's been chased off by Lola in our back fence just often enough. He's like, fuck all you bitches. Fuck all of them. I mean, fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
So, but
I mean, that's kind of it. We're just trying to get through the next few weeks to the end of the month.
Yeah, working on some
You know.
personal stuff.
The oldest is doing well. He started his job. He's been doing
He's
really.
enjoying it.
He's enjoying it. Looking forward to the first paycheck.
I am too, because I'm the one who goes, Mom, I need some gas money.
Yeah.
Mom, I gotta eat at this thing. Can I have some money? And I'm like, I'm taking care of him. I'm not going overboard or anything, but it's like, when do you get paid? This
Right?
is why you have a job.
Yeah.
Gets paid tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then he starts the payment plan of 2 tickets he got that we had to front him cash because he wasn't even working at the time, so he didn't even have the cash to pay for it. So we paid for those tickets and then went, but when you're working again, you will pay us back.
Right.
So
That time has come.
that time has come. So yeah, that's we could keep going because we like hanging out with y'all. I mean, the last Patreon live Q&A we did for the month of May, actually, we got no questions until the live stream started, and we ended up just chatting for an hour. I mean, we did basically map out our kinky bed and breakfast dreams and how we would make those happen.
Right.
So, but yeah, we could just sit here and chat, but we can't sit here and chat. So I guess we should go and go off and do things. So yeah. Okay.
All right, y'all.
Thanks for
good having you hang out with us.
Thanks for staying to the bitter end.
Yeah.
We love y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Bye.